One of the biggest problems I see with my Women Academy students is that they fawn. They will comply with a man's leadership. They will go along with it even when it doesn't feel good for them. Even when they can feel in their body that something is wrong, that this doesn't fully feel right, that this doesn't feel like a full yes. That is not submission. We're going to really clarify on this video the difference between submission and compliance. So I teach submission. Submission is healthy. All women should be submitting to a man. That is what is going to feel good for you. That is what is going to feel good for the man as well. Submission just means, to be very clear, you are following a man's leadership. You're receiving a man's leadership from a place of a full yes in your body. You as a sovereign being, a sovereign woman, are choosing to follow his leadership because you want to, not out of fear of how he's going to react, or fear that you're being bad by not following, or fear that he's going to abandon you, or any other kind of fear, or any other kind of guilt, or any kind of shame. You are following his leadership because you want to, because it is a yes in your body. When you learn how to follow a man from that energy, and only from that energy, a lot is going to start to change in your love life. Because that's when you're learning how to fully honor yourself all the time. And a man is only going to be inspired by a woman who knows how to always honor herself, because that's an act of self-worth. That's communicating, I am so worthy of care that I don't have to ever self-abandon myself to avoid a man abandoning me. I'm so worthy. Whereas when you fawn, when you comply, when you allow yourself to be subjugated, when you follow a man's leadership when it doesn't feel right, when it feels like a no, when you're feeling anxious but you don't say anything, you are self-abandoning. And when you self-abandon, a man's going to feel it. A man is, there's many problems with you self-abandoning, but first of all, a man is going to feel it, and he is going to sense your lack of self-worth. And when he senses your lack of self-worth, he's going to lose inspiration to take care of you. He's going to lose desire to claim you as his woman, to fully commit to you, to take care of you. And he's going to lose attraction. He's going to lose connection. Lots of bad things happen when a woman complies, when she fawns. But more important, you're also opening yourself up to, well, the more that you do this, the more that you're shifting out of your self-worth, the worse you're going to feel about yourself. It never feels good to fawn. It never feels good to comply. It never feels good to allow yourself to be subjugated. So you're basically, every time you abandon yourself, you're going to feel worse and worse about yourself, and you are potentially opening yourself up to hurt. How could you get hurt? Well, if he leads you into giving him money, for example, that's going to hurt. You're probably going to lose that. You should never, ever in a million years give a man money for any reason, just so you know. You might follow him into the bedroom too soon, on a first date, second date, fifth date, whatever it is, too soon, before you're truly, fully ready. And then you're going to feel terrible about that, get potentially attached to him. And he's not capable of taking care of your heart. He could lead you into all kinds of dangerous situations. And when we talk about following, like one of the issues for women is, it's like they judge being in the follower role as less than or weak. Men do this, some men do this too, just so you know. I don't. I think that being in the follower role is beautiful, right? And I've given this analogy 1,000 times. It is like salsa dancing or tango dancing, right? Nobody looks on the dance floor and says, oh, like she's in the follower role, like she's less worthy than the man, less important, it's super easy. No, it's a hard job, it's an important job, and it's a job that is just as worthy as the man's job. The problem that we have with followers is most followers, I'm going to put this in a bigger context, most followers are sheep, right? They're followers because they don't have self-agency. They just blindly trust and follow someone else, like the government, for example, when they are psychopathic liars and don't care about you. And when you are a sheep, you're also going to attract psychopathic men into your life, or sociopathic men, or narcissists, or just men who are not really good for you. So that's what being a bad follower is. When you don't know how to honor yourself, you don't know how to speak up for your needs, for your feelings, for the problems that you're experiencing, you're going to attract the wrong kind of man and the wrong kind of behavior from that man. You're going to end up getting hurt. And that's your responsibility. Like, yeah, of course, the man has a part to play in that as well. He's responsible for his own behavior, but you're co-creating that with him by not knowing how to truly submit to a man. You only know how to comply. And why is this happening? Well, it's because of fear. It's because of childhood trauma. It's because your parents didn't teach you how to follow them from a heart-honoring place. When you didn't follow them, what did they I'm not saying 100% chance, but what did they probably do if like most parents? Well, they got angry, they got reactive, they got irritated. They said, well, I'm your parent, you have to listen to me. And so you learn that to get love and to avoid emotional and physical abandonment, you have to dishonor yourself. You have to comply. And then that pattern carries on into adulthood, and you do the exact same thing, and then you attract the wrong kind of behaviors and the wrong kind of men over and over again until you shift this pattern. How do you shift this pattern? Well, in my academy program, what do I teach women? First of all, just stop doing it. Like when you notice that this is not feeling good for you, when it doesn't feel good to follow, don't do it. But be careful of the trap here, because what women will often do and what they're often taught to do is resist a man's leadership by saying no, by saying stop, by setting boundaries, by saying I'm not doing that. They're creating a wall. When you create a wall, you're in your masculine energy. When you're in your masculine energy, man is not going to be inspired to take care of you. It is a form of disrespect to the man. And yes, I am saying setting a boundary with the man is a form of disrespect. There is absolutely a place and a time to set boundaries. It's well within your right to set boundaries, just so you know. There's some terrible men that you absolutely should set boundaries with. But what I am saying is when you're with a man who cares about you, who cares about your feelings, who cares about your needs, if you set boundaries with him, absolutely you are disrespecting him. You're trying to respect yourself, and absolutely it's way better than fawning, it's way better than complying, but it's still not going to get you a great result because you're ultimately disrespecting him. Whenever you are leading, whenever you're trying to get an outcome, whenever you're protecting yourself from your man, you are disrespecting him. I'm not saying it's intentional. I'm not shaming you. I'm not judging you. Well, I'm making a judgment, but I'm not being judgmental towards you about it. I'm sharing this with you so that you understand that this is also a problem. This is not the path. If any teacher, if any coach, if any celebrity is telling you to do this, if your mother is telling you to do this, they are leading you astray. What is the correct thing to do? What we teach in our academy program is we teach women how to honor themselves in a feminine way that inspires a man into taking care of them. So if you cannot follow for whatever reason, it doesn't feel like a yes in your body, you need to speak up, you need to use feminine communication, and you need to share the feelings that are coming up, which is typically going to be fear, but sometimes anger, sometimes shame, sometimes guilt. It's usually going to be one of those, but fear especially, fear and anger especially. So you need to share that, you need to ask for help with those feelings, and you need to have a conversation about it, ideally using feminine communication the whole time, and that's going to go beyond the extent of this video, how to do that. But that's the basic, right? That's how to get it started. So that a man can understand why you're experiencing it, and then hopefully care about it and adjust his behavior, right? So like I teach my wife, this is how I learned to do this in my academy program, by first teaching my wife feminine communication, and it just transformed everything in our marriage in the most unbelievable ways. Because before I was just, it's like, she wouldn't very rarely like comply, fawn. She would just go into resistance. And that just bothered me when she did that. So I taught her feminine communication to communicate what was coming up for her so that I could understand her feelings, so that I could either adjust my leadership or give her reassurance in some kind of way so that she could follow me from a heart-honoring place rather than abandoning herself. And this is what we teach our students in our academy to do as well. And what we see is most men will start stepping up. And the goal is, this isn't actually your goal because that would be masculine energy if you have a goal. Really the only goal should be you're being feminine for you. But ultimately the outcome of this is a man steps up to start protecting your heart from himself, from his own behaviors. Because a good man doesn't want you to fawn. He doesn't want you to comply with him. He doesn't want you to follow his leadership for the wrong reasons. That's not true respect. He wants you to follow him for the right reasons because you're choosing to do that from a place of a full yes in your body. Now, by the way, I may as well segue this in. On my discovery calls with women, where we'll talk about the academy, but we'll also talk about what's going on in your love life. We'll talk about why it's happening. We'll talk about what you need to do to shift to experience the kind of results that you need. And then if I believe that we can help you in the academy, we talk all about it and you decide whether to work with us. One of the big things that's important to me on those calls as well is I don't want you to ever be complying. I don't want you to be fawning. So sometimes I will give you a correction with your communication just because you're more in your masculine. And like I'll do this to women who come on the call. And then I'll ask, like, hey, tell me how you felt in your body receiving that correction. Because sometimes they will go into a fear response or a shame response. And I don't like it'll compel them into following my leadership where they're fawning. And this happened recently. This happened, I think, last week even, where she told me, like, yeah, I was fawning there. And I'm like, okay, great. Thank you for sharing that. Tell me what was coming up. Oh, there's some fear that was coming up. Why did it come up? Well, she was afraid that I was going to judge her or that I was going to be angry at her if she told me that she felt fear. Which of course I had told her to do. Like, just tell me whenever you're feeling anything on this call, just tell me so I can help you with it. But she was afraid even to share that feeling because that had been her experience in the past, that if she would share her feelings, a man would be angry at her. So I'm like, no, you tell me all your feelings. I helped her with her feelings. And then in the future, when I gave her a couple more corrections later on in the call, she was able to follow that leadership from a place of a full yes. And I asked her, like, tell me what you felt that time. Did you do that for yourself or did you do that for me? No, I did that for me. So she learned how to submit to my leadership, receive my leadership, because she learned how to share the feelings that were coming up for her using feminine communication. This is magic. When you learn this, everything shifts in your relationship. You shift into your self-worth. Your man wants to protect that self-worth by being the protective man he can be, protecting you from his own behaviors. And then he starts taking care of you in a way that you've never experienced before, and it's just fantastic. If you would like help learning how to make these shifts with me, if you would like a discovery call with me, it's free, where we just talk about what's going on in your love life and we find out if the academy's right. I would love to speak with you. Go below this video, open up the description, click on relationshipyourdreams.com, watch the video on that page. If it resonates for you, fantastic, book that call, and I'll see you there. And we're gonna have a great time. I'll probably give you a few corrections. We have a lot of fun, and really, I just wanna make sure that you're always having a great time with me, and that's why I ask how you're feeling. So book that call. If you're feeling any fear, move through it. I promise I will take very good care of you. I'm looking forward to it. That's it for this one.